Good morning. I'm joined on the line by Alistair for the preview show of Saturday, the 25th of March, a 9-race program out there at Turffontein with the first off at 12:10. The bipod will start in race 2 and a couple of feature races to boot. Good morning, Alistair. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning, Graeme. Well, life's busy happening. Friday morning, Joburg has had a little bit of rain, but I don't think there'll be any concern since I got back just over 2 weeks ago. It's the first drops of rain that I've seen in nearly 6 months. So, all good. Thanks, Graeme. Looking forward to the card. And I've kept things pretty tight from an exotic perspective. Hopefully it works out that way. Thursday at the Val, things went back to normal on the back of 2 carryovers on the half-hour prior.
Yes, indeed. I see you're taking no prisoners, going strongly for your fancies. As you heard there from Alistair, we are recording this on Friday morning. So as always, check the press for the latest scratchings as we approach race time on Saturday, the 25th of March. The first of 9 races is a conditions plate for fillies and mares over 1,000 metres. Only 6 runners, only 2 in the betting. Number 2, Sheila at 11-20. And number 3, Sweet Pepper at 15-10. As far as the betting is concerned, the other 4 runners don't matter. What does Alistair think?
Alistair thinks that Sweet Pepper will be the one that they need to beat. Graeme, how's this for a little bit of trivia? I don't like comparing times on different days, but both Sheila and Sweet Pepper ran in the Alan Robertson, but a year apart. Sheila ran on the 6th of June, 2021, and the winning time was 69.01. Sweet Pepper ran on the Alan Robertson a year later, and the winning time was 69.01. They stopped the clock in exactly the same time. How's that? So, I think if you adjust things and look at it that way, Sheila got beaten at Hollywoodbets Scottsville in the Alan Robertson, and Sweet Pepper won it. I think Sweet Pepper's probably just got an edge more potential, although Sheila has got the extra win under the belt. She is, after all, a year older, and she comes in here the best weighted horse on the race. They both come off rests. They both got all the ability in the world. Sheila runs particularly well fresh, but I think number 3, Sweet Pepper, could just be hitting her straps, aiming for races like the South African Filly Sprint at Hollywoodbets Scottsville in just under 3 months from now. So I think it might just be better teed up for number 3, Sweet Pepper, especially with a claim with a lightweight. I think she'll be hard to peg back, but I expect a Drakenstein 1-2.
There we go. Drakenstein exacta in the first race, but Alistair going with the second choice in the market, number 3, Sweet Pepper, to overturn the odds-on favourite. Now, race 2, a maiden plate over 1,400 metres, due off at 12:45, is the first leg of the bipod. Here again, we have a strong favourite in the form of number 1, Mo the Man, the mount of Keegan DeMello for JJ van Vuren. That's priced up at 12-10. Number 2, Gimme a Diamond, is a 3-1 second choice in the market. And the only other runner quoted in single figures is number 3, Fast Duty. Mo the Man looks the part, Alistair.
I can't see him missing the first 2. The bipod is my suggested bet on the day, and I think dropping him back to 1,400 metres is key, because I'm not sure he quite got home last time. A combination of Jet Dynasty turning it on from the hopeless position and Mo the Man probably just tying up the final 100 metres, I think constituted to what looked like a real spectacle of a race. I think dropping him back to 1,400 metres is the key. I know he's been this distance before, and it was an iffy run. You wouldn't look at the run to Brave Viking and say, well, there's a horse that's a certainty next time out. But the money came from last time. There was all the confidence in the world, and whether he needed that penultimate start coming off a 2-month layoff, I'm not sure. But I think that he'll make amends. I think that he'll run into the first 2 here. I have great respect for number 2, Gimme a Diamond, who pushed Sharapova all the way last time out. Joey Soma's enjoying a good run of form, but the dampener is the worst of the draws. 14 out of 14 over 1,400 metres on a Turffontein standside track. Samanga Kamala is going to have to be at his brilliant best. So I just think too much points to number 1, Mo the Man, and a couple of disclaimers about number 2, Gimme a Diamond. And I think number 3, Fast Duty, he'll win a race sooner rather than later, but I don't think he's too upwardly mobile.
Race 3 on the card is a maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1,400 metres. This off at 13:20 is the first leg of the Place Accumulator. And here again, we have a short-priced favourite in the form of number 6, Avo on Toast. One of my favourites, by the way, 12-10. Off a very promising debut. Number 1, Keep the Fort, is at 4-1. Number 7, Call to Glory, the imported daughter of Kingman, out of Smart Call. We know all about that pedigree. That's at 5-1, having run second behind October Fair last time out. And number 8, Have a Party, is at 6-1, also off a promising debut. It looks competitive, looks like there's a bit of form to go around, but number 6, Avo on Toast, is quite short in the market.
And I think he'll be hard to beat, Graeme. He is, or she rather, is a half-sister to South African Classic winner last season, Red Saxon, also trained by Joey Soma. To be honest, I think she was a very, very unlucky loser on debut when getting beaten less than half a length by rocking the time away. She lost 2 lengths at the start. She was all at sea. She had no idea what to do. And the penny dropped, never mind the final 400 metres, the final 200 metres, she absolutely took off. So the extra distance, the experience under the belt. And, you know, when you look around at some of the other form, Call to Glory, that form isn't working out too well. Have a party, I mean, if Silk Gardens beating you, how much more do you have to come? And keep the fort, I'm just once bitten, twice shy with her. So I think number 6, Avo and Toast, will be very hard to beat. In fact, of the 3 races that we've done so far, I think she's worth a good, solid bet.
Confidence, Avo and Toast from Alistair in the opening leg of the place accumulator. Let's move on to the first leg of the pick 6. It's a pinnacle stakes for fillies and mares over 1,400 metres. And what a good race. Number 1, Desert Miracle, who of course won the Mallorca Stakes in her last outing at Kenilworth in Cape Town. She's at 12 to 10. Some would argue that 1,400 metres is her absolute best distance. The Hollywoodbets July Heroine, number 2, Sparkling Water, is at 9 to 1. Number 4, Humdinger, ran an absolute crack in the Hawaii Stakes, is at 6 to 1. The second choice in the market is the 3-year-old daughter of Flower Alley, number 7, Feather Boa, at 22 to 10. She's got good solid form and obviously gets a bit of weight from Desert Miracle. But is it going to be hard to peg back Desert Miracle over what is arguably her best distance?
I think so, Graeme. You took the words out of my mouth. Arguably 1,400 metres is her absolute best. Not that she's bad over a mile by any stretch. I always wonder, since coming out of the Mallorca and since Captain's Ransom fluffed her lines in the Prix de Cup, how much of a difference Christophe Soumillon made. And I know it's Group 1 form, but a small field where they went to walk. Can we really be confident about the level of form? I'm taking nothing away from Desert Miracle's win because I'm all in on her, just because I think obviously Sparkling Water is going to be looking for races to come. I still think it's a tad short for Sprinkles. Humdinger's got to be in the race. Marigold Hotel's having a very long year and it's only March. Only Girl, I suppose, has got to be respected. And then Feather Boa, as good as she is and as big as the run was on the Phillies Classic last time, I don't put her in the same category as Desert Miracle yet. So that's why I'm keen on number 1, Desert Miracle. But I still have 1 or 2 question marks about whether the Mallorca is going to be the strongest Group 1 form of the season. Craig Zaki takes over, and even though it's her first run back, and even though I'm sure she'll be targeting the Empress Club Stakes and various races during champion season down in KZN, I just think her class over this distance will carry her through.
Well, there's no denying her class, and she is unbeaten over 1,400 metres, 3 from 3 and 2 from 2 over the course and distance. So Alistair Cohen going with number 1, Desert Miracle, who's got 62 to shoulder and giving away 6 kilograms to the young protagonist, Feather Boa. Might be a little bit short for Feather Boa. She's quite versatile, but she did run second, as you heard there from Alistair, in the South African Fillies Classic over 1,800 metres last time. Sparkling Water and Humdinger, perhaps to fight out the trifecta in quartet positions. On to the first of our features, and it's the Proteus Stakes for 2-year-olds over 1,100 metres. It is the first leg of Jackpot 1. It goes at 14.30. And here they're betting number 1, Lucky Lad, 28 to 10. Number 2, the Africa House at 15 to 4. Number 4, Give Me Another Chance at 3 to 1. And number 7, Amber Rock, is in fact the favourite. Now this is a debutante filly on debut, 18 to 10 favourite, 2-year-old daughter of Give Me the Green Light out of Rock on Baby. That's the early betting. Do you know anything, Alistair?
I don't know anything, but what I do remember, even though it wasn't the Proteus Stakes, it was the Pretty Polly, Sheila made her debut for the Aussies and for Drakenstein Stud and won the Pretty Polly. So maybe they're trying to double the bet. I know nothing about this daughter of Gimme the Green Light, but the betting tells you a lot, and also the light weight, 54.5 kilos, could well give her a big boost here. But I think it's going to be hard because I spoke to Sean Tarry just over a week ago about his crop of 2-year-olds, and I asked him various questions, and Sean was willing to give a little bit away, but not everything away. And I asked him about this horse, particularly Lucky Lad, and he rates him. He had no right to win first time when beating Sandringham Summit. Both those horses were the talk of the town, and Lucky Lad got the chocolates on that occasion. I think the run will do him a world of good. Dropping 60 meters, I'm not too worried about it. If it was 1,000, I'd be majorly concerned. But I like what I saw last time from number 1, Lucky Lad. So I think that put it like this, I think that he stands out right now as a potential gold medallion big candidate, not just the runner. I think he's going to be a big runner at Hollywoodbets Scottsville in the gold medallion. Just with his running style, I think he'll enjoy Hollywoodbets Scottsville. So this race will tell us a lot. And then I was impressed with number 2, the Africa House on debut. Another one who didn't look like winning going through the halfway stage, but turned it on in good style, beating Virginia Beach. The form again is a little bit iffy, but the 400 to finish was lightning fast at 22.3, much quicker than that of Lucky Lad, who had probably a little bit less to do, but took a little bit more time to do it. So I think I'll be safe in the bar pot with one of Sean Terry's runners, if not both. Number 4, Give Me Another Chance. That's obviously in the market, deserves a mention. Second to Pure Predator on debut. Pure Predator didn't look like winning until the final few strides, and he came out and ran second to Fire and Flames, who's not a bad horse. But I just think the levels around Sean Terry's 2 might just be a bit stronger.
It's going to be interesting to watch the betting market all the way up to race time with number 7, Amber Rock, the filly. At the moment, favourite on debut against 2 live wires, as you've heard there from Alistair Cohen. The betting may yet tell a story, but Alistair going with the Sean Terry inmates, 1 and 2, to fight out the Proteus Stakes. On to race 6, the Pretty Polly Stakes for 2-year-olds. 2-year-old fillies, that is over 1,100 metres. And this race seems somewhat more competitive. Number 1, Elegant Ice at 3-1, along with number 5, Midnight Fusion at 3-1. Number 2, Exchange Student at 33-10. Number 4, Leaving Las Vegas, 11-2. And the rest are all in double figures. What do you make of this year's renewal of the Pretty Polly Stakes?
I don't fancy it too much, Graeme, I must be honest. They're horses here that I don't think the level of form is quite as compelling as the Proteus race earlier. So I've opened up a little bit here. Of all the legs of the bar pot, this is the race where I've gone most runners. I've gone 3 runners, 2 Exchange Students who had a little bit of a setback coming out of her last run, but she's in good order at the moment. She beat Fire and Flames, who's won twice, beating Pure Predator along the way. So I suppose we'll get a good line out of Give Me Another Chance early on, although in our indirect line, a line nonetheless. Keegan DeMello takes the ride. She should have no issue going 1,100 meters either, and I think she's a player without being majorly confident. I do have a bit of the tail of this daughter of Trippy. Number 5, Midnight Fusion, again looked very appealing to the eye on debut over 800 meters. I think that was the first juvenile race of the season, certainly on the half belt, and but she beat Explicit Content, who's subsequently gone down to Abeja as a maiden. So again, a little bit worried about that level of form, but like I said, to the eye she was very appealing first up. And then number 8, Woman of Fame, although very costly last time behind Ronnie of Couture, it wouldn't surprise me with 57 kilos on her back if she's quite a danger as well. I believe Sean Terry thinks a bit of her. I don't know how highly. Must be highly enough to be running in a feature race. So number 8, Woman of Fame, I don't know how many more chances I'd give her, but I'd certainly want to be in the credit with her.
Comment about number 4, Leaving Las Vegas, did beat Call Me When You Need Me. That came out to win at the Val yesterday, being Thursday. Reminder again that we record this show on a Friday morning. Daughter of Afif, won well first time out?
Yeah, probably the most convincing piece of form with Call Me When You Need Me and a few others coming out and franking that form. So that all looks well. Tony Peters absolutely flying at the moment. His 2 winners at the Vol on Thursday were very encouraging. They'll probably come out and win their next starts as well and defy the handicapper. I must confess, even though she stretched away last time, I'm not 100% sure about her going an extra 100 meters. She probably will run a huge race, but I think she's just got that blistering, precocious pace that she showed first up. She might be swerving a little bit over the final 100 meters, but she might also do enough. She might kill them with early pace and be a player. She's in the race. I've left out the bar pot. I wouldn't be leaving her out of the pick 6 or jackpot.
Race 7 on the card is the Colorado King Stakes, Grade 2 over 2,000 metres. It's off at 15.40. Only 7 runners carded. The short-priced favourite, again from the Sean Terry stable. He looks set for a big day at Turffontein this Saturday, the 25th. Number 2, Nebras, the 6-year-old son of Vercingetorix, is at 11-10. Number 3, Stable Companion Litigation, is at 19-10. And another Sean Terry inmate, number 6, Rain in Holland, is at 9-1. We're all waiting for Rain in Holland to bounce back, but she's struggling to recover her best form after that wind operation. Nebras must go close, surely.
Strictly at the weights, Nebraska is going to be very hard to beat here, Graeme, on every conceivable piece of form. Even in a pinnacle stakes over 1,800 metres in October, where Nebraska was clearly teeing up for races to come. He's got Pink Tourmaline second base and Divine Odyssey held. On the Victory Moon Run, he's got all the horses around him. Ice Cold is actually finding how he's got the edge of that lot, even though litigation beats him. He comes in that is a lot of weight. That's 6 kilos better off for 2.5 lengths between them. I think this is tailor-made for number 2, Nebraska. Richard Farina gets on board. There's no reason to doubt that that he's the right man for the job, because he's had 5 rides on this horse for 3 wins and a third. And the only time they fluffed their lines was, of course, in the Marshall Watersport Gold Cup, where he seemed to stay on quite nicely behind Shangani, but didn't really get a blow in. And when you look around in this race, Divine Odyssey and Johnny Hero and horses like that in second base, although I'm a huge fan of second base, when you start looking for reasons why they're going to beat Nebraska, and I hate to say it, all those 3 horses that I mentioned look like they've seen better days. I think you'll need Nebraska to run an absolute stinker, and one of those horses to almost come back to that career best to be dangerous. I have a lot of respect for number 6, Rain in Holland, by the way. The run in the Mets was actually very encouraging. She was one of the unlucky horses. You can make that case for a lot of horses in the race. There was hard luck stories all around. She was one of them. She's probably half the deficit behind Jet Dark if she got a clear run. But the Acacia run, a bit flat. I'd give her another chance or two before I write her off. I think she'll run a better race this time, but without lowering the colours of her stable companion.
Nebras for the 2023 Colorado King Stakes over 2,000 metres. The penultimate race is an MR70 handicap over 2,000 metres. Not a big field. We only have 7 runners carded, and joint favourites number 1, Little Prince, and number 2, Jet Dynasty, both at 5-2, along with number 3, Future Wolf, also at 5-2. So a 3-way tussle, 3-way go at the top of the boards between numbers 1, 2, and 3. 5 Prime Example is at 13-2. Jet Dynasty, a bit of an enigma. He just never raised a gallop in his post-maiden run. He gets the cheek pieces. That's a late declaration. He gets the cheek pieces on Saturday. Comes up against Little Prince, Future Wolf, and Prime Example. Which way is this going to go?
I like none of those. I like number 7, Time Spirits, off a lightweight, Graeme. Gabriel Peterson takes the ride for Paul Matchett, and I watched that last run quite closely on the inside track, and he was staying on. He might have been going past beaten horses, and the pace was on, so the numbers might look a little bit more appealing than they actually are, but there was certain signs of life, and there's no doubt that he needed his first 2 runs back, coming back from an 11-month layoff, and he ran like he needed those runs. He was placed up there and faded out of it. But the fact that he did things differently last time and showed, like I said, signs of life, I'm expecting a big run from number 7, Time Spirit. Sadly, in a small field, we get no value from an each way or place perspective. But I'm going to be taking swingers with number 7, Time Spirit. And then I think certainly the more reliable option would be number 1, Little Prince, but I think that number 2, Jet Dynasty, has all sorts of untapped potential. As you say, the Derby trial run 2 weeks ago was bad. I'm going to take the stance that might have been a bit rushed, just being a week apart when he stretched every sinew to beat Mo the Man a week earlier. And I think just sort of getting back home and maybe chilling out for a few days might serve number 2, Jet Dynasty, better. So I'm going to look around in this race with 7, Time Spirit, and then either 1 or 2, probably number 2, Jet Dynasty, because I believe he's got a bit more to come than number 1, Little Prince.
So there we go. Alistair's found some value for us in the 8th race with number 7, Time Spirit, as he mentioned, being a small field. Not easy each way value, but when there's only 2 tote places, they often pay really well. So let's move on then to the 9th and final race, which is an MR80 handicap over 1,160 metres, and the last of 9 races goes off at 1650. And here your favourite is number 2, Orzenker, to follow up on its maiden win at 5-2. Number 7, Cornwall, who won well on debut, is the second choice in the market at 28-10. 10 Permesso Avanti is at 15-2, and number 1, Expeditioner from your stable, the Candace Dawson stable, is at 8-1. Let's start there. What do we make of Expeditioner?
Cracking last run in the middle stakes. That race was to bring him on for this race, so it's sort of been planned out this way. Richard Ferries 2 from 2 on the son of Trippy. He too's in good order. I haven't heard anything negative about the son of Trippy, and if he's able to shoulder the weight and beat off an upwardly mobile Ozenker, I'd expect number 1 Expeditioner to be right there. I think Canners will be disappointed if he didn't run in the first 3, but he's got a winning chance. Number 2, Ozenker, again, didn't beat much of substance, but looked impressive when winning on Harfeld debut. And we've seen what Tony Peters' stats look like in his record. There's probably more to come for the son of Elusive Fortu. Certainly wouldn't scream sprinter, but even when he was with Justin States, he was running nicely in those sprint races. Funny enough, that Work Riders race, that Jockeys versus Work Riders race, sorry, a different race that I'm thinking of, beg your pardon, but anyway, for what it's worth, that Jockey versus Work Riders race in Cape Town is actually a very good piece of form. But I'm looking at the penultimate start on King's Plate Day. That again isn't too bad. Been a few horses that ran in that race, just not a distance behind, but a few places behind the winner that have come out and won. So I think Ozenker's could be in the right place, the right time. There's a lot of disclaimers about the others. Number 7, Cornwall beat Pontiac first time out. There was money. I heard Adam Azzi's interview afterwards. He said he had no idea where the money came from. And I do know that the horse started a little bit late because there were a few issues throughout his 2-year-old career. But obviously those issues have been ironed out, and he looks like he could be anything. I don't know what type of level he'll get to, but he could well end up being better than an 81 ultimately. And that could be kind from the handicap. So I think the race revolves around those 3 in order: 2, 1, and 7 for me, but it could very well be the other way around. I'll be surprised if anything else wins this race.
So there we go. That's a wrap as far as race 9 is concerned. Before we say cheerio to Alistair, he's going to take us through his bipot, and I have to tell you, it's a 6-rand perm, one that you can take multiple times. Let's hope that his advice is spot on the button so that we can all cash in. Take us through it, Alistair.
Well, like I said, Harfeld Racing certainly owes us a favour, so let's hope it goes according to plan. The bar pot, of course, begins in race 2. It's a double-header on Saturday with Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Open up in the first leg with banker number 1, Mo the Man. Second leg, number 6, Avo on Toast. I make her the bet of the day. By banker number 1, Desert Miracle. By 1 and 2 in the first of the features, the Sean Tarry pair, Lucky Lad in the Africa House. By 2, 5, and 8, that race you need to open up a little bit because even though I've left out Leaving Las Vegas, that needs to go and she needs to be included. And then Brass, the second bet of the day. I think that he'll be hard to beat.
So there we go. Alistair Cohen's preview of racing at Turffontein, Saturday, the 25th of March, featuring both the Pretty Polly Stakes, the Proteus Stakes for 2-year-olds, and of course the Colorado King Stakes. As always, Alistair, thanks for your input.